Hello everyone, welcome back to another session on Databricks. Today we will talk about delta transaction log. What is delta transaction log? Databricks delta table implemented most of its features, including ACID properties, schema evaluation, everything based on transaction log. If you got chance to work using SQL Server, you might have noted about the transaction log. It is similar to SQL Server transaction log, but unlike SQL Server transaction log, Databricks transaction log is very easy to retrieve the previous history records and revert it back in case of any changes or any failures. So, what is actually transaction log? Delta Lake transaction log is an ordered record of every change that has ever been performed on a delta table after its creation. So delta transaction log serve as a single source of truth to show users correct views of the delta at all times. How it happens, that I can explain to you with the help of example, right? So if you look at the example, let's say we have one file with the size of 1 GB. Now we need to load that file into our data lake. So if you store the data in a Parquet, what will happen? Let's say we have loaded first 3 files of 250 MB into the lake, and the fourth file, it got failed and partially loaded. It can fail any reason. It may be network issue or the memory issue, anything. So what will happen if the user tried to access the data from where it stores the files, the end result, right? So if it is partially loaded and very next time, if the load succeeded or the full files came in, it may duplicate the records. Or if the file corrupted, then the user may not be able to read the data from that path. Whereas in delta table, what happens is the same file it is writing into the table. At the same time, in the delta log, it will store which file is already committed. So this way, delta table makes sure that atomicity is applied on top of Databricks. What is atomicity? If any transaction happens, either it will happen completely or it will never happen in case of failure. So in case of delta table, how that happens, that atomicity implemented, as soon as the file 1 it return into the disk without any failure, the pointer of that file is added in the delta log. So the table and the file association happens in the delta log table. Similar way, the next file completes, it will add it into the log. When the fourth file fails, that association, the file and the table association, is not happens in the delta log table. So any other user trying to read the data from this table, it will fetch the data only from the 3 tables, not the failed one. So that way it can ensure that any user who are concurrently accessing the data will have the greatest and latest data which are already committed. Okay, now it is the time for demo. So to do the demo, I have created 2 folders. One is Delta and Parquet. So what we will do, we will store the same files into both the places, and then I don't have any failure scenario for now, so instead I can move any other Parquet file into the Parquet folder and see how it behaves. The same way how Delta behaves also will compare, right? So so you can see I have already created this Delta folder and the Parquet folder. So now let's create the data frame. So I have some files already loaded. So I'm going to use Microsoft share data here. So let me execute this to create the data frame. Then this data frame, I'm going to write it into the Parquet folder, right? So the data frame is ready. Now let's go to the Parquet. I'm going to write the same data frame into the same path, like file store / Parquet, right? So I'm going to execute this. Oh my god. Okay, so there is some issue here. Let me check. This was working before. What happened? Oh, okay. All right. So the data frame completed. This data frame written there actually, right? Let's see the files in the same path. So we have Parquet files, 3 files I believe, with the snappy compression. Yes, 3 files are there. Now I just want to change the column name, because I can see one space here that may be problematic for delta table sometimes. So before writing into delta table, I'll change the data frame to df2 with the column renamed. So we have that ready. Now I'm able to read the data frame that I created, right, from the place where I stored the data. So you are good. Now, as I told you, I'm going to move one Parquet file from other folder into this Parquet path. So this Parquet path is the place where we stored the end result now. And this is another Parquet file which is not related to this data set. Okay. So I'm going to move this, and for moving this file from one place to another, this is the keyword you can use. No worries. So what we can do, we can check any other files there. db utils.fs.ls. I'm just going to take another Parquet file from here. So let's go and check what are the Parquet file available there. So I can, oh, it's not written anything here. Okay, so I'm going to move this one of the Parquet file, right? So I'll just select it from here to here. Okay, this is the one I need to change. Okay, now it is true. We are good. And now we need to read, right? We need to read the same data frame here and see whether it is working fine or not. So let's do this. So it's throwing error, right? Go to the command. So if you look at here, you can see that the file that came into the path is not same as the other files, right? I know that this kind of scenario may not happen, but I just want to showcase that even this kind of scenario happens in real world. Delta can handle it pretty well. Now let's see how uh, we can do it in Delta. All right, so now we will look the same scenario in Delta, how it works, right? So for that, I just created the Delta table. It's not required to create from the beginning itself. It can write it as a Delta files. Then later point of time, you can create Delta table on top of the files. Okay, so your Delta table is ready, and df2.write mode, but df2 is not correct, right? So I just want to remove the df2 one. I'll just write the df into the path. Now we have the df2 ready. Now this df2, I'm going to write it in the Delta, right? So let's write this one in the Delta format. Right, so let's query the Delta table. You have all the data. Now we'll do the similar kind of exercise by moving the data from one place to another. So for that, we need to find out some existing Parquet file, right? Okay. Okay, so I'm just going to move this path. Should be here. This one is fine. Let's the move. Okay, this is the move. I'll just update it here, and I'll just move to Delta, right? For Delta. Now, the file which is not associated with this table moved here in the table path. Now we'll go to here, the shared Delta table, and execute it again. You can see that there is no issue for reading the data, right? This is because the file that we committed into the Delta path, only those files are associated in the Delta log files. So the new file is not in the Delta log. That's why it is omitted while executing the data. All right, this is what I want to show you in this session, and I will come up with more transaction log videos because we need to deep dive more into the transaction log. So stay tuned, and we'll catch you next time. Thank you. If you would like to receive more such videos, please like and subscribe to my channel. Also, if you would like to connect with me, I have provided my details here, my email and LinkedIn. So thank you very much.